Morning of the 9th of April 2021 in the Western Pacific. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. Today I want to talk about our tropical wave located towards the south of Guam. But first, I do want to note, if you haven't already, please check out our Patreon here for this YouTube channel. I don't like to ask too much as far as donating. I don't do it very often, but this is the graphic package we are very close to getting. I've been talking about it for a couple months now, and it's getting there. And I think this is going to make our video updates that much better. So check out the link down below. But let's get right into it. Here's a look at our area. It is kind of scrambled eggs at this time. But here's the thing. A couple days ago, there was nothing here. The models have been picking up on something, and we're starting to see that convection. I've been saying for a few days, you need something to materialize to help initiate the model forecast. This is starting to materialize pretty far towards the south here, which means likely it's going to track more on a westerly track, staying south of our high pressure located just north of the Philippine Sea, and thus bring it closer to the Philippines. So I know for a few days out there in Guam, we have been a bit worried about this moving straight towards the north. It would be highly unusual. The GFS has been going for it, even despite the fact of how unusual it would be. That is not going to happen. There was a small chance. That's off the table. Right now, though, this is pulling in moisture out of the intertropical convergence zone. And then as it moves towards the west, it is going to run into some shear. And you can see here dry air indicated in the purple. These are things that would be conducive for a weakening storm system, yet it would be combating warm sea surface temperatures and this moisture associated with it. You can see there's some things that go for this storm and there's some things going against it, and why there is a bit of uncertainty. But overall, the general outlook, at least at this time, a westerly tracking system into the Philippine Sea. There is still a possible chance of it recurving by the time it gets to that point. CMC and ECMWF have actually been on this track, but now the GFS is even joining those on a more westerly running storm system. As far as Pagasa is concerned, they have stated that there is a potential for a storm system from the 15th through the 21st out here in the Philippine Sea. Now I'm going to get into some of the model analysis here. If you're looking for a forecast where somebody's just going to show you some models and say, this is where it's going to be, you're not going to find it in these videos. And I strongly stress that. And 90% of you understand that. At this point, I can't tell you if a storm is going to hit your house. What I can explain to you is what I'm looking at this point. Well over a week from now, so trying to tell the future a week from now from a slowly developing system of where this could go, what the past has shown us, and what some of the models are showing us at this time. So let's get into it. First, here's a look at what the GFS is showing right now. A storm system located off the coast of Luzon, pretty potent, but you got to take this only at face value. And I have seen some Facebook groups sharing this image right here going, oh my goodness, we're going to get a typhoon. This is what the GFS ensemble shows for that same time period. Now you can see there is a cluster here moving into the Philippine Sea of these ensembles. By the way, I explained this in my video update yesterday, but just a quick recap. The ensemble is basically, you got about 50 different model runs in this pretty picture here that I often share with you. Well, those model runs are averaged together with the global guidance. GFS and ECMWF both do this pretty well. So this is what it looks like before you average together. And what we see here is uncertainty. If all these circles were lined up right on top of each other, that would be like, yes, everything shows a low developing and going in this direction. What this does show me is that the model does want to develop something. Just where exactly it goes is highly, highly uncertain, pulling it here kind of towards the west, close to the Philippines, but then scooting it towards the north. But we don't want to look at just one model. We also want to look at another one, the ECMWF, for example, and that actually shows that cluster getting closer to the Philippines, but still has some pulling east. But if you average that together, at least at this point, we're probably going to see something out here just east of Luzon based on all the data available. Now, it's not only this data, but we want to look at history, right? Because you don't just look at models. If you're a model forecaster and you only look at models, you need to truly rethink if you want to be in meteorology or not, because history would tell us, climatology, very similar track. If we had a system here, it would probably come up here close to Luzon and then pull towards the north. That's kind of what some of the guidance is showing us, right? So at this point, all the data I'm seeing, that's kind of the track I would say, but we still have to wait for that low pressure to develop a bit more, and I would feel more confident the models stop being so split and uncertain at this time. The main points I want you to take away from this: if you are in the Philippines, you need to start getting ready now. You should always be ready. There's always a chance for a typhoon here in the Philippines, but start preparing, especially out there in Luzon. Could be nothing, but it could be something. Less likely, though, to impact Guam. So good news for you in Guam. I know last week the GFS has been showing like a super typhoon hitting you. I wouldn't take it off the table, but it's in the back of the table and it's ready to fall off. It's pretty out of the question at this point. But, just keep an eye on it. The key thing right now is planned versus scared. Plan means you have a plan in place. You have a place to go, place to shelter, clear thoughts. There's no panic. But, we all know these people. If you're here watching this video and you watched it this far in, then I'm pretty confident you're a planned person. But we all know those scared people. No plan made. Start to panic. When you panic, you put yourself in danger, and that's when you're caught by these storms, or at least you're trying to evacuate when there's a storm surge coming in. You put yourself in danger, not only yourself, but your friends and family that may be depending on you. So at least for now, plan. Start getting ready and start looking at that potential of a storm system out here. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out our Patreon, as I shamelessly promoted at the start of this video. Also, you can stop by westernpacificweather.com and check me out at Twitter. Facebook's probably one of the best places you can get intermediate updates, or at least just shoot me a message there at Robert Speta Weather, and I'll try to answer your question as well. Or you can comment down below, and I try to answer or look at every single comment. There's not a lot on this channel, but there's enough where it takes a little time, but I try to answer them all. So please let me know. But I think for now, the big takeaway, my friends, is let's just continue to watch. I'll have another video tomorrow or the day after once we get a bit more data. But it does look like more of a west running system here. How strong? Still loads of questions here. I really don't know at this point, but I wouldn't expect anything more than a tropical storm high end. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there.